Oh, bada boom, bada bang, look at that. We can do shoe tricks. We are going super max stack this morning. One of the favorites back in action here, Brooks Glycerin Max. Now there've been so many people over the past week trudging through cold wintry runs. It's finally starting to break down here in North Carolina. I think we're gonna get normal weather again, up past 30 American, but the community challenge on the Supple app is still going until January 31st. I actually sent out a bunch of prizes this week for people running in cold weather, so make sure to sign up for the Supple app, participate in the community challenge. We also have discount codes for Running Warehouse and the best community out there, best buy, sell, and trade marketplace for running shoes. So link is in the description below. Get in with us, enjoy some good shoes, enjoy some camaraderie, and enjoy today's video. And one more thing, if you run in -5-degree weather, a -5 American weather, and you post a picture on the app with an icy beard or an icy face, icy hair, iced out beanie, I will send you a Hobby Jogger beanie. So come on in and enjoy the winter weather with some friends on the Supple app. Saturday recovery mileage in the Glycerin Max. I haven't run in this shoe in, I don't know, over a month. But this week I wanted to revisit some of my favorites and just run in shoes that I like, run in shoes that are matched for the runs. And this is one of the best recovery running shoes out there. Now the difference to me, somebody asked, I think our friend Maya on the channel here asked me, what's the difference between an easy and a recovery run? What are the different types of shoes you use for both? Now, I don't usually use the language easy runs to talk about running at all because no running is quite easy. And I actually do have a whole video on recovery running and how to incorporate that into your training. But for me, no run is ever easy. Nothing ever feels like walking when I'm running. It's all some sort of effort. But relax miles, for me, are anything where I'm not doing a workout. I will typically treat those as relaxed miles. All right, let's get out here and I can continue talk out there. All right, getting out here running. Yeah, relaxed miles to me are anything where I'm not doing a workout. I keep it relaxed. If I'm not training to hit a certain pace, for example, yesterday I was doing this 10K alternation workout, 10K pace, where I was hitting a quarter mile at around a 10K pace and then 3/4 miles at a steady pace. And I was in the Alpha Fly 3, a race shoe. Now today's a true recovery run, and it's not just about the pace, it's also about the distance. Saturday, I always do my shortest run of the week, unless I'm catching up on mileage. This is exactly what I'm saying. Getting out here to run, do you hear it? My breath, my breathing, it's harder than just walking. It's also harder holding the camera. And it takes me some time to get into it, but no matter how slow I go running, it still is some sort of an effort. But recovery runs for me are shorter, and typically they'll be at least 90 seconds per mile slower than marathon pace. And depending on your fitness and feeling, it could even be 2 minutes per mile slower than marathon pace. That is a recovery run. The goal, get the blood flowing, keep up the consistency. There's also tons of evidence, not in the lab, but from coaches and athletes, that recovery is faster. And I was reading this training book recently that blends both science and coach evidence. And they were saying scientists can't quite figure out what makes recovery runs so powerful. But it's one of these
phenomena where we do them, they make us feel better for some dang reason, and then we can attack again the next day. So I would keep them at a minimum 20 minutes, and for most people, no longer than 40 or 50 minutes. So 3 to 5 miles for most people is going to be the target recovery zone. I can go up to 70, 80 minutes, so an hour 10, an hour 20, and still be in that recovery range. But once I tip past that, once I tip past the 90-minute mark, it's not a recovery run because I'm burning more fuel. And that's really the biggest key for me. The recovery after the run, keeping it short enough, under an hour, well below an hour for most people, will mean that you're not dipping into your glycogen stores too much. You're not putting too much stress on your muscles. But the stronger you are, the longer you can go. So if you're running 5 days a week, you can do a 30-minute recovery run at a relaxed pace and be good. If you're running 2 days a week, it's likely that any run you do will put stress on your body that you need to recover from. So it's all about feeling it out. I have a whole video on this. The one thing I'll say though is aerobic miles, or miles that are specifically for developing the aerobic system, I treat those differently than recovery runs, at least in pace. So for an everyday run, I'll typically be around 7:30 or below. And honestly, what I'll do most times is I'll just lace up my shoes and go. And whatever that pace comes that day, if I have a 10 miler on the calendar, that's what I'll hit. So if I'm hitting 7:10, 6:50 pace, that's a solid aerobic development run. If it turns out I'm only able to hit 8:10 pace, as was the case a few times this week, then I'll treat it like a recovery run, and maybe I'll even cut it shorter. I actually did that when it was snowy. I was planning to do 10, 12 miles. I woke up late. And this is the thing. A lot of the time, if I wake up late, I will do a shorter run. And that's a function of just not having enough time to do more miles. But also, if I wake up at 6:30 or 7, and I'm not able to get up at 5 or 5:30, that's likely because my body needs more recovery. And I'm not ready to go rip off a 14 piece. I should probably keep it at 6 to 8. So these are the physical signals that you can learn. Another good way to tell is just how the legs feel popping off the ground. And a good way to tell if you're ready to run a hard workout is doing some strides and how fast, light, and efficient those feel. But aerobic miles should be longer, slightly faster pace. Recovery, shorter, slower pace. And so for that, all the best recovery running shoes for me, all about comfort. They don't need to be versatile at all. That was mile 1, 8:01 pace. That is a recovery pace for me. Anything faster than 7:40 these days is a recovery pace. And I did just do 78 miles in 4 days from Tuesday to Friday. So a recovery day is needed. And that's also something, it's not just about feel. Some days I'll just force myself to take a recovery day. For example, some Saturdays I'll feel great, but I'll still just do a 4-miler because I know the long run's coming the next day. And that's a good time to do recovery runs as well. Day before a big workout or day after a big workout. Or if you've stacked 2 higher mileage days, do a recovery run. I love this shoe, man. I've been going hard on the MagMax recently, and that has a more energetic feel to it. This is more relaxed for sure. He's a laid back character. It's like the Vomero versus the 1080, which are 2 of my favorite shoes of 2023 or early 2024. This is like the 1080. You're only gonna pull for this on days where it's a slow cruise. Can it pick up the pace? Can it do strides? Yes, but that's not where it's optimal. By the way, I did go team tights this morning, but under the pants. Pants by themselves, they're too short and thin. These are the REI accidental capris. So I have the DSG tights on underneath. And then the Charlotte Hornets fleece. This was a thrift store find from Charlie. Charlotte's back on the rise. The baby is back on the radio, making news again with 50 Cent. Panthers and Hornets are still 2 of the worst teams ever created, though. I honestly don't understand how they're both in the same city. It's comical. All right, that was mile 2, 5:39. It's a beautiful day for some mileage. That was mile 3. I didn't check my watch, but I think it was 7:30 something, 7:40 something. That's the thing too. I'll typically speed up throughout these runs. First mile, usually my slowest. That was the last mile. 7:20 pace. Downhill though. Alright, there we go. That's how I do recovery runs. Just ease into it and float. 7:37 pace for 4 miles and 1600ths, 31 minutes and 40 seconds. So yeah, if I were going to go on the treadmill, which I was actually planning to do this morning, I would have just set it to 8:30 per mile pace and cruised for 4 to 8 miles. But out here, I just let whatever pace come. I just let it flow, and I don't slow myself down. If it feels like I'm going to need to slow down, then I will. But that was an average 7:30 something, 7:40 pace run. And because it was only 30 minutes, unless I'm going faster than a 6:50 pace, I'll be able to recover from that. So recovery is about the intensity and the duration. You don't want the intensity getting too high, and you don't want the duration going over 40, 50 minutes for most people, even 30 minutes for most people. But man, this is one of the best recovery shoes out there. Thick forefoot. Now the stack in the heel isn't the tallest, but the forefoot stack is so protective. So great recovery shoe for just bopping along. It feels like I'm floating. Much different than the MagMax. MagMax is great, but has more of an energetic bounce. This thing is just a chill, gliding roller. I love it. All right, family time. I think we're going to go to the farmer's market. Then I'll see you guys later for the full list. One bite, everybody knows the rules. Fire? Is it fire? Fire flames? Is it fire?
Yeah.
Back in the car, post it up.
Daddy.
What do you have to say to the people, Rizzi?
Salty. I would say
Sour cream?
yeah.
What do you say?
Sour cream.
Alright, this is the real bada boom, bada bang, bada bop. Look at this. You always gotta keep one on you. Boom!
No, the real bada bing, bada
And if you're really like that, if you're really about that action, bang! Double. One on the left side, one on the right side. That's what I'm talking about. I can't hear you because the jam is calling.
Daddy, what is Mommy getting?
We can't hear you. Mommy's getting mushrooms. And she got us this fire jam. Mandarin, orange, raspberry, and then the smoky one.
Actually, yeah, explain that.
How do you even do that? Oh my gosh. Okay, that's...
Wait,
Can't hear you. The mushroom's calling.
I'm not.
Big Daddy is coming.
Wow, that's crazy.
Kind of looks like a.
Can I see it?
What's the opposite of
See
salad?
it? Mommy,
You... Yannick.
Yannick. There.
Not
It looks a little
Not see
Yannick.
Mommy,
After
not
birth.
see it.
Oh gosh.
Not see it.
One sip. Everybody knows the rules. No, you can do it. Full suite of mushrooms pre-grilling. This looks crazy. Yeah,
I'm sorry. Ball bing, ball boom.
Wild. That's wild.
Still go. There's a banana. Look, what's the other
One bite, everybody knows the rules. Dude, how do you even... Oh, it squishes. It squishes. It's soft. That's incredible.
Barbecue chips in there.
Football mukbang.
Here comes it.
What do you think?
Did it fire?
Daddy, if you say yeah.
Woo!
Ira, do you want to come eat?
Should we go to the big table or is this just sunk?
Is that Walter? Walter? Doug the dog. That's too much. Boom. Back outside in just the hoodie. It's been so cold recently. Under freezing every day, 22 American every day, that I have not been able to be out here in just a hoodie, but no big jacket, thankfully. I did have to have the big fleece for the run this morning, but we're out here filming in normal. This is normal North Carolina winter. Normal North Carolina winter is 20 minimum at the lowest. It does not usually dip below 20, 25, 30 as it's been doing over the past few weeks, and then highs of 50 to 60. And right now it's probably, the watch is probably going to say 40 something, but it feels, yeah, it says 46. It feels almost 50, which is nice. So let's get into it. 5 best shoes for recovery running. So this is the one that I ran in this morning. Brooks Glycerin Max, still a favorite. I told you this week is favorite weeks. I'm revisiting all the top shoes that I've enjoyed over the past year, and I don't even think I need the hood on the hoodie. I don't need the hood. It's really pleasant out here. Yeah, one of my favorites over the past 6 months to a year, and it's not too anything. That's why I love this shoe. It is a ton of foam, but unlike the Super Blast and some of these higher stack shoes where I feel like I have to really put something into it to get it going, even with the MagMax, sometimes I have to put more mustard in it to get it going. This one, no. It's just a nice, relaxed cruiser. Feels great at 8 minutes. Someone actually posted on the Supple app earlier today. They were clipping off, I think he did an 11 or 12 mile run at a 7:15 pace in the Glycerin Max, and he said it was awesome. But where this specializes is comfort, and comfort for any runs, 30 plus minutes. Great stack of foam in the forefoot. This thing is just incredible, and low-key banger for the grip too. Some of the best grip out there. So this is the ultimate in max cushion comfort right now. This is probably the best recovery running shoe. This would be my top recommendation, but I'll go through the other 4. Let's go low to high price. So we went to the farmer's market, and I was actually wearing this shoe right here. New Balance 1080 V13. No, not the V14. This is still the version that came out in 2023. This came out in, was it September or October 2023? So this has been on the market for a while. You can now find it heavily discounted under $100. And so use my Running Warehouse discount code. That'll bring under $100. I also saw Joe's New Balance outlet. Use Running Warehouse first. Check if they have what you want. But Joe's New Balance outlet, I was on there. I saw a crispy pair of 993s. They were tan and gray. I'm not a big sneaker guy, other than running shoes, of course, but I'm not a big casual lifestyle sneaker guy. I've never gotten into that, at least in my adult life. I used to wear a lot of Air Forces and would occasionally get Jordans, but Jordans are expensive. I couldn't buy Jordans growing up because I didn't have the money. But Dunks, Air Forces, whatever I could find that was fire at Marshall's. You used to be able to find good Air Forces at Marshall's. Now it is getting cold, and I do need to put this on. Point being, Joe's New Balance outlet has some good deals on this. They have some good deals on other stuff. This is a great max cushion recovery shoe. New Balance calls the 1080 the one running shoe they would make if they didn't make anything else. And in this generation specifically, it was not the most versatile. So it's funny that that was the vibe, or that was the character they were going for with the shoe. It's way more of a relaxed cruiser that was even too soft for some people. And very similar spirit in these two shoes. My 2 favorite recovery running shoes of the past few years here. Taller for sure, heavier for sure, in the Glycerin Max, but relaxed cruiser. There's not an aggressive rocker. Lower drop, similar to the Glycerin Max. This is a 5 or 6 millimeter drop. It doesn't put you up on your toes too much, and also has just the right amount of support for me to get out there and go for even 8-10 miles. I really love this for longer recovery runs where I was cruising at 8:15 pace, even 8:30 pace. So if you want a more affordable shoe, again, under $100 right now because this came out last year, if you want a more affordable recovery run shoe, this is what I would get. It's not going to feel as max stacked as the stuff that came out in late 2024 and now early 2025 because the market just keeps getting taller and taller, but it still feels lightweight, still extremely comfortable. One of the most comfortable uppers of the past few years. It is all padding, support, and comfort on this thing. New Balance really knocked it out of the park. This is one of those special shoes like the Saucony Endorphin Speed 2s and 3s, like the Hoka Mach 5, like the Nike Alpha Fly V1, one of these dead stock shoes that's not in production anymore. They updated it, made small changes, and the last version is just better. This is just better than the 1080 V14. I still like that shoe, but at a $50, $60 difference, you're even more now that you can find this under 100 in some places, maybe even a $70 difference. This is the one I would go for. Also, colorways and design of it are super clean. So 1080 V13. All right, next up here. Now we are taking a big jump up in price from under 100 to 165. And again, this is the best list. This is the best list of recovery running shoes. Most of these max cushion shoes that are designed to give you the utmost in comfort come in around $160 or more. So all these last three shoes are going to be 160 plus. This is 165. It's the Hoka Bandai 9. The Hoka Bandai 9. So big tall stack of super critical EVA foam in this guy. This is one that I've been enjoying a lot over the past month or so since I got it. And unlike the Glycerin Max, unlike the 1080, this has more of a robust structure to it. It's not super soft. When you put this on, your immediate thought, unlike the Glycerin Max and the 1080, isn't going to be, oh, I'm sinking into it. It's just going to be, It reminds me a lot of the Brooks Ghost Max V1, what I liked about that shoe. Also, the shoe that I'm wearing right now, too. Can you see that? I'm wearing the Vomero 17. Sometimes I'll just put on, now that it's the winter and I don't always want to come out here in slides, I'll just put on a random shoe from my collection. Today, I'm in the Vomero 17. I do not like the way these look for casual wear in this colorway, but super comfortable shoe. That top layer of ZoomX foam is great. I'm really excited for the Vomero 18. But what I loved about the Vomero 17, it was just a doer. A job doer type of shoe. I could just lace it up for any type of run, get out there and go. That's how the Bandai feels. I actually took this last run, and you can see the disgusting urban detritus on the bottom of this from New York City. Last run I did in this was in Manhattan, actually in two boroughs. We hit Brooklyn with my guy Jared, and then we hit Manhattan. Pretty gross. All around pretty gross on the bottom, but this shoe handled that well. It's handled the treadmill. I was running a lot on the treadmill during that trip, and I think I did 2 or 3 runs in a row on the treadmill with this, even though I had the Super Blast 2 and the Mach X2 up there with me. This is the one that I wanted to run in. So a nice reliable shoe for those days where I want some extra support. It's not a prescriptive stability shoe, but really great wide base, awesome, comfortable upper. It's not too tight. A lot of Hoka shoes have a reputation for being tight. Not this one. I have this in a 10.5 and it fits me perfectly. All around, it's a shoe that will just take the pressure off, make it easy for you to run. It's not going to be as soft and squishy, but if you want a recovery running shoe that can also double as a daily trainer, occasionally do some strides, pace pickup here and there, this is the one I would get. Not as energetic and exciting as the Brooks Glycerin Max, but it feels a lot more normal and it disappears on foot. That's not something I can say about the Glycerin Max. Glycerin Max does have that super max stack, helps you fight back character, where you're running on tired legs, Glycerin Max will give you something more, but the Bandai has that get out of the way, just let you do your thing and feel in control of the shoe. Also really nice rocker on this, just a complete smooth banger, Hoka Bandai 9. All right, going up in price here. 165. Oh no, this is the same price, 165. So it did go up in price from the last generation to this, but this is the Asics Gel Nimbus 27. I actually want to do a head-to-head soon of this versus the Glycerin Max, because these are two super similar feeling shoes to me, where you get a lot of tall stack, and Nimbus 27 is one of the tallest stack shoes that I've actually ever measured here in the office since I got that stack check set up, but really comfortable upper and a lot of room. If you have a narrow foot, I would actually not get this. I generally have never, I don't know if I've ever advised people not to get a shoe because of it was too wide, but this is a very wide, voluminous fit, even in the standard version. Super comfortable. One of the best foams I've tried, comfort-oriented foams I've tried over the past year. So Bondi, and I did a comparison between these two, Bondi has more firmness to it. It's going to have more bounce. When you pick up the pace to it, it feels firmer. This feels equally as energetic as the Bondi, but also gives you some squish down. It's a really weird sensation. I don't know how they've done it. It's almost like a training version of that Saucony Endorphin Elite 2 foam that is super soft, but also bouncy. So that's what you get out of the Nimbus. If you want very soft, but also bouncy, this is gonna be great and gives that cloud-like experience. So I prefer shoes like the Bondi and that Ghost Max for being on my feet all day. But if you want something for occasionally being on your feet, if you want something to be the most comfortable after your long run for whatever errands you're doing that day, this is the one I would pick. And it can do long runs. I've actually done a 20-mile long run in this. I did a 20-mile long run in the Bondi. Both are great, but this definitely feels more of like that recovery running shoe, prescriptive recovery running shoe, and that's why it's making this list. It's one of the best on the market for just enveloping your foot in comfort. Every single run I do in this shoe, I just say, it is that sink in type of feel. Also great rocker up in the front, surprisingly, and decent grip too. It has the Asics grip. So soft foam, bouncy foam, really nice shoe here. Asics Gel Nimbus 27. By the way, the gel is this small gel unit in the back of the heel here that provides more impact protection if you're landing on the heel. All right, last shoe. Another one from our friends at Asics, the Glide Ride Max. So if you watch the channel over the past few months, you've seen me testing the shoe, trying to figure out what it's for, going back and forth, saying, how does it compare to the Nimbus? And it's hard for me to place exactly where this goes on the market, but what I do know is soft and bouncy like the Nimbus, yes, but also energetic, more lightweight and streamlined than the Nimbus, and I've enjoyed it a lot for those days where I want some more fun to my daily miles. So another good recovery running shoe that has the capability to go faster like the Glycerin Max, but doesn't feel as big on foot. So this doesn't feel as awesome as the Glycerin Max, doesn't feel as awesome as the Nimbus for me. It's almost in this in-between zone, similar to the Mizuno Neo Zen, where it's not sure if it wants to be a recovery shoe or a daily trainer. But if you do like a more streamlined feeling max cushion shoe, you are gonna love this. So that's gonna be the difference between this and something like the Glycerin Max or the Nimbus. It is 30 to 40 grams lighter than those shoes. It came in at around 300 grams versus 320 to 340 for some of those other taller max cushion shoes. Same thing, as this feels a lot more streamlined than the MagMax. It also feels smaller on foot just in terms of the upper, and you can see this here. The width of the upper and volume of the upper on the Nimbus is a lot higher than the Glide Ride Max. So overall more streamlined. This is going to be better for narrow footers. It also does have a different type of foam on the top here that does give you some more pop. I also think if you're a 4-foot striker and really popping off the front here, you will like this. It's more of that higher cadence type of shoe. So if you're lighter on your feet, higher cadence, still want a recovery running shoe that has a lot of foam, but you're not going to be fighting against the stack, I would go for the Glide Ride Max. If you're, I don't want to say bigger runner, but this is the one that, to me, out of these two, even though it is soft and squishy, it always does give me that return, and it feels that it stands up to my force better than the Glide Ride Max sometimes. Glide Ride Max, sometimes I could feel that I was fighting against the foam. So that's interesting because this actually is supposed to have the bouncier, livelier foam in it, but my experience with the Nimbus here has been better for putting down power and just feels more protective. This feels like one of the most cushion protective shoes on the market. So there you go. Charles is going out for her walk right now with Reevesy. Let's see what she has on her feet. What is she wearing? New Balance. New Balance Hero. That's her shoe of the day. Fire? Yeah. Look at him go. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Fresh cut. We got the super healthy Supple Kitchen pre-long run dinner. Baked tofu. Sauteed sweet potatoes. Kale. Is the kale from the farmer's market? Grocery store kale. Chickpeas. And grits. Grits. Right on the bottom. That's what I'm talking about.